Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, family and friends. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Nigel, and it's my great pleasure and privilege to welcome you here today to this lovely venue on such a glorious day to celebrate the marriage of my beautiful daughter Rebecca to Darren. We're very grateful to you all for joining us today to be part of this very special occasion to demonstrate our love and support for the newlyweds and to make this a very special and memorable occasion for them both. It's truly marvellous to see their friends and family assembled here today. I have to say they all brush up rather well, kitted out in your finest wedding regalia. At this point, we'd like to take time to remember family and friends who, for whatever reason, have not been able to be with us today on this auspicious occasion. They're very much with us in our hearts and minds as we celebrate today. Rebecca's my only daughter, so this is the only chance I'll have to make a father of the bride speech.
You're glad.
So naturally, over the years, I've spent quite a lot of time thinking about exactly what I wanted to say when this moment eventually arrived.
Really?
Well, it's actually a lie because I always thought I'd just wing it should the occasion ever arise.
Yeah.
But then it dawned on me last night that Becky would say, "Just don't embarrass me." So I decided it might be wise to prepare something instead. I printed this off the internet this morning,
Yeah, I did think so.
so I hope it works out okay. Becky, you look truly stunning today, as I'm sure we'd all agree. She's always been very photogenic, but did her best to ruin that as a toddler when she launched herself at our prize coffee table and managed to cleanly knock out both of her two top front teeth. Luckily, they're only a milk teeth and no real harm was done. She was headstrong even then. However, beauty is only one of Rebecca's many attributes. She's also fiercely loyal, totally dependable as a friend, fun-loving, a bit scatterbrained on occasion, and friendly. All of which I'm absolutely certain will make her a perfect life partner. Darren and Rebecca are a very lucky man. Becky has developed into a lovely young woman and a devoted mother, who I'm proud to have as my daughter. And I'm sure Darren will also be equally proud to call his wife. At this point, I think it's also traditional to extol the virtues and intelligence of the groom. And I have copious notes, but I'm sorry, Dan, I just can't read your writing. I'll never forget the day when I got a message from Darren saying he needed to speak to me about something important. I assumed he wanted advice on a parking ticket or something like that, and it's not an uncommon request from the pair. But instead I was completely stunned when he asked for my permission to marry Rebecca, who said that the age of chivalry was dead. Over the time we've got to know Darren, we've realised how special he is to Becky. He's a real genuine nice guy who wears his heart on his sleeve and loves and cares for Becky. They're both so happy together and have already started their journey through life together with the beautiful gift of Elsie. Understandably, Darren is probably a little bit nervous about addressing all of you as the groom. Don't worry, Darren, after my speech you'll look like a professional. Anyway, as I've alluded to, I'm just the warm-up act and we've more prestigious speakers to follow. So I'll finish off with a piece of wisdom, mainly for Darren's benefit. As a great philosopher once said, a man who gives in when he's wrong is a very wise man. But a man who gives in even when he's right is married. Never truer word spoken in jest. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my very great pleasure to propose the first toast to the happy couple. You'd like to raise your glasses. To Darren and Rebecca is for a long and happy, wonderful life together. Rebecca and Darren.
It's me.
Here we go.
Hello, everyone. The day's finally arrived where I can use the phrase I've been dying to use. My wife Becky and I would like to warmly welcome you to our wedding. Thank you all very much to come and celebrate with us. I would next like to say, Becky, you look absolutely stunning today. I expected you to look wonderful, but nothing prepared me for what I saw as you stood by my side. And I'm very proud now to be your husband. Along with the day that Elsie was born, today is Today is two of the happiest days of my life. In reality, it doesn't seem 5 minutes since we met 4 years ago, and here I am now, a married man with both a beautiful wife and a beautiful daughter, neither that I thought would ever have. Time certainly flies when you're having fun, and I'm having the best time of my life. For those who don't know the story, we met online, which of course is a very acceptable way to meet these days. My search for a soulmate had been long and agonising. Match.com didn't have a match. eHarmony.com couldn't find anybody within 3 octaves. And plenty of fish, well, we know what goes on there, don't we? And the Lonely Hearts Club said they weren't that lonely. And then Becky's beautiful face popped up on an app called Bumble. This is a site where a woman has to make the first move, and the rest is now history. Obviously, we had some great times in between, but the next milestone after that fateful meeting was my proposal in December 2019 on a horse and carriage in Central Park, New York. Even I have to admit that I did my best there to make it romantic. Unfortunately, she was suitably impressed. She said yes, and of course, again, the rest is now history. So what is Becky like to be with? The obvious answer is wonderful, which is why I've been so keen to marry her today. She's so many fine qualities, which I'll get to in a moment, but sadly driving at a normal safe speed and cooking are not among them. She could literally burn a salad. They did. So if the old saying that a way to a man's heart through his stomach is true, it's obvious that Becky knows other ways to mine. Such as the fact she's an amazing person and also, has also become an amazing mummy. In the short time since the icing on the cake came for us, this February when Elsie, our little IVF miracle, was born. Once more, I can't believe we're parents, just as I also can't believe that Becky has agreed to marry me. I now have that big list of my wife's qualities. They are her great beauty, her kindness, her thoughtfulness, her charm. Sorry, again, I can't read your writing. I'll have to stop, sorry. I'll have to move on. Being serious now, Becky has all of those good qualities and many more. So as I look at my beautiful wife today, I realise more than ever how very fortunate I am. And I will finish speaking about her with these final words. Becky, I love you with all my heart. And I'm now looking forward so much to spending the rest of my life with you. Now, I'm afraid during the rest of my speech, I have quite a few thank yous to make, and I'll begin at the very top with the parents. First of all, I'd like to give you a very warm thank you to Becky's mum and dad, Carolyn and Nigel, for the greatest gift of them all, allowing me to take their beautiful daughter's hand in marriage. I'd also like to thank mum and my sister Nikki for all their support with Elsie. Next up are Becky's matron of honour, Amy, bridesmaids Isabel, Ruby and Amanda, and flower girl Linda, who have attended and supported her so well today. Oh, and Shalane, sorry. Sorry, Shalane. Yeah. I'm sure you'll all agree they've done an excellent job and look absolutely beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, would you please rise while I propose a toast to the bridesmaids? To the bridesmaids. Cheers. Ching, 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 ching. Where am I? Hang on, I ain't finished yet. I'd also like to thank Pageboy Harley and Usher Lucas. Well done, lads. Have you got your speeches ready? On second thoughts, perhaps not. They would no doubt be better than mine before anybody says it. Right, who's next? It's Dean and Johnny, the best men. When you choose your best men, I've heard that you should choose those during their speech would be willing to lie about how nice you are. Well, I didn't know anybody like that, so I chose Jean and Johnny. Dean. Jean. Who's Jean? She's at home. Johnny and I first met when we worked at the bakery before I became a driving instructor, and he lived with me for a year, so he obviously knows quite a bit about me. Dean, as some of you will know, I was one of his best men at the beginning of April, where I made a bit of a speech, and being his best man was an absolute pleasure. So with their speeches in mind, I think I'd point out that at times both of them live in a bit of a fantasy world in which they have trouble separating reality from imagination. So basically, I'd advise you to take anything that they say with a pinch of salt. Joking apart, and on a more sincere note, thank you very much, Dean and Johnny. You've both been true loyal friends, truly brilliant friends to have in my life, and I'm very proud and very pleased to have you as my best men today. Last but certainly not least, I'd like to thank Carolyn and Nigel for Becky's amazing dress, and my mum for our gorgeous cake. Everybody at this venue for their excellent hospitality and catering, and all those people that have contributed, assisted or provided services leading up to today. Well, that's about it for now, apart from thanking you all sincerely on behalf of Becky and myself, once more for being here today, and also your kind thoughts and nice cards and wonderful presents. Thank you all very much, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I don't intend to stand around any longer and tell stale old jokes, but I will hand you over to a man who probably will. Over to Johnny.
Well done, Daz. That was beautiful. Right, everyone. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who don't know me, I'm going to get closer to this mic. Okay. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Johnny, and I'm one of the best men. For those of you who don't understand Geordie, I'm hoping this will be an enjoyable speech. Sorry, for those of you who do understand Geordie, I'm hoping it will be an enjoyable speech. If you can't, it's going to be the longest 10 minutes of your life. Okay. So firstly, I want to thank Nigel and Darren for their speeches. You've left us with a hard act to follow, so thanks for that. Now, secondly, I just want to, on behalf of the bridesmaids and the groomsmen, I would like to thank Darren and Becky for including us in their very special day. What a fantastic day it has been so far, and so much for Becky's hard work and preparation has gone into it. Darren, you just sit there, mate, and enjoy yourself, yeah? Now, a bit about Darren and I. So, me and Darren first met around 2011, when I started working at a bakery called Margaret Hall's in Warwick. Now, I'm not going to lie, in the early stages, I found Darren to be quite annoying. But after a few staff nights out, in the most horrific karaoke duet at a place called the Holly Bush in Leamington, he grew on me, and sorry, I can't remember what the song was. Darren, I was too drunk at the time. After we both left Margaret Hall's around 2012, we kept in touch, met up for a few nights out in Leamington now and again, and then in 2016-17, when I was between homes, Darren showed me how good a mate he really was. And he put me up for a while, which is when I really got to know him. Now, before I moved in with Darren, whenever I went to his, I was always very surprised. We'll flatten this out a bit. I was always very surprised about how tidy his house was. And this was before Becky, by the way. In fact, it looked like a showroom. But after a couple of weeks of living with him, the truth soon came out. So whenever Darren was expecting visitors, he would just throw everything in the cupboards, give the bathroom a quick clean down with a few anti-back wipes, and see Becky nodding along here in agreement. As I'm sure most of you will have experienced, Darren has a habit of being late for most things. Okay? In fact, if it wasn't for me and Dean, I don't think he would have got here today. Now, whenever me and Darren would arrange nights out and agree a time for anything, I would always add on what I like to call Daz time, which meant booking a taxi or a table for about half an hour later than we had agreed. All jokes aside, Darren is a top bloke and one of the best mates I could ask for. He always puts his friends and family first, and he'll never let you down in times of need. He's very determined and hardworking, which is evidenced by his successful career as a driving instructor. However, having a successful career has never been enough for Darren, as he's always wanted to settle down and have a family of his own, which he has now found with Becky and baby Elsie. And I'm sure you'll all agree that they are a beautiful family. Yeah. Now here comes the heartfelt bit. Now, Becky, when I first met you, I knew that you would be great for Darren. Not only have you helped him to improve his cleaning skills and his punctuality, but you've also given him the family he's always wanted and made him a very happy man. Now, when I speak with him, it's obvious just how much he loves and adores you and Elsie, and I'm sure he'll be a great husband and father. Now, before I offer a toast to the happy couple and hand you over to the second best man, sorry, Dean. I'd like to leave you with one thought. You don't marry someone you can live with. You marry someone you can't live without. In this case, these two really have married the right person. So can I just ask you to all be upstanding? And just raise a toast to the bride and groom, to Darren and Becky. Over to you, mate.
Yeah. I don't know if you can all see the screen I've got set up over here. I've got graphs and everything. You might not believe this, but this is the first time I've been hunched over a laptop sweating. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Dean. I'm obviously the second best man. Cheers, Johnny. What? Is that better? I didn't think I'd have to shout with a microphone. So, Darren was my best man, as he mentioned, and he knew that I was going to be his best man a few weeks later, so he couldn't really say anything mean in the speech he did for me. And he did a really lovely, heartfelt speech, and it was really nice, but I've got nothing like that hanging over my head, so I can say what I want. Now, Darren will tell you, there's a tradition that the groom buys the best men gifts. And when Darren was my best man, he got a little bit confused and thought he had to give me something, which, I'm not going to lie, I was a little bit surprised at what he gave me. I think it's pretty clear to see who the best man is. If you don't know what he's doing, I'm not explaining. So, me and Daz have been good mates for about 10 years. And through those 10 years, Darren's had lots of ups and downs. I've managed to catch one of those downs on video. That's Darren there. I've put a big hand and a sign, Daz, there he is. This is what happened when you've had 3 shandies and you try and put a drink on the floor. I'm just going to play that again, just so you can really catch it. There he is. There he isn't. Now, I just want to point out that this was my stag do. This was 3 shandies. this was the stag do that we never actually got to have a wedding. And like I say, he's had ups and downs. We've seen a down, but I've managed to carry him through some of his hard times. Here's me carrying him. Literally. Oh, bless him. You can imagine Becky's face when she come to pick him up. And I mean pick him up. So, as we all know, stop looking. Look at me. As we all know, their lives were enriched with baby Elsie, and a lot of people say that Elsie looks like Bex, but I got photographic evidence that she looks a lot more like Darren. There we go. Just put some of these on in the background for you to have a look at while I'm talking. So Daz and I first met when I was, he employed me as his personal trainer. And I was training with him for a good 3 months before he dropped the bombshell on me about his sexuality. And he's straight. just a little bit effeminate. Turns out I was talking to Johnny 3 months for him as well before he realised it. All jokes aside, Daz is a lovely lad. He's got a heart of gold. He's just got the alcohol tolerance of a 6-year-old. A small 6-year-old. I honestly don't think there's a room in my house he hasn't thrown up in. He does it a lot, doesn't he? In fact, when we went out for my stag do, Becky said to him, I've had enough of the way you're drinking, you can't handle it, you come home, you throw up. If you come home in a state tonight, our wedding's off. We went out, 3 shandies, all over himself. I was like, stay here. He's like, but Becky's not going to marry me now. She said if I turn up in a mess, his wedding's off. I was like, look, get your wallet out, take £20 out your wallet, put it in your inside pocket. Then when you get home, Becky's going to say, look at the state here, the wedding's off. You say, it's not mine, somebody threw up on me, they've given me £20 for the dry cleaning. Oh, that's a good idea, Dean. So he gets home, walks through the door. Becky's like, look at the state of you. That's it. The wedding is off. He's like, wait. It's not mine. Somebody threw up on me and they give me this for the dry cleaning. She said, well, why have you got 2 £20 notes? He says, well, the other one is from the man who pissed in my pants. Right, I've been married for about 6-7 weeks. So when you've been married as long as I can, you can give advice. So, Bex, as you start to get older, same as all women do, you're going to worry about the aging process. It happens. The good thing is, Daz is 10 years older than you. So as you start aging, his eyesight's going to deteriorate about the same rate. It's like a slide rule. You're going to be fine. Daz, the advice I'll give to you, you're going to be wrong. A lot. Even when you're right, you're going to be wrong. Just go with it and enjoy it. All right, that's my speech over. So ladies and gentlemen, if you'll raise your glasses to Mr. and Mrs. Bates. Well, thank you very much.
Say again. Johnny, sorry, thank you.
Say again.